HyperSound Clear 500p is a new revolutionary home audio system specifically designed to help individuals and their families have a better television listening experience without the need for additional wearable devices. When you are finished with this guide, you will be able to experience HyperSound Clear 500p yourself. Items included: amplifier, 2 HyperSound Clear 500p speakers, remote and AAA batteries, manual, power supply, 1 optical audio cable, 1 RCA audio cable, 1 floor stand tool, 2 floor stand poles. Basic connection. Look at the back of the amplifier to get started. Power. Inputs. Analog in. Optical 1 and 2. Outputs. Optical. Woofer. HyperSound Clear 500p speakers only. Right. Left. When hooking up the HyperSound Clear 500p speakers, right and left on the amplifier refer to the final speaker placement as if you were looking at the TV. Unscrew the post on the amplifier until a small groove opens up above them for the wires to be inserted. Once the speaker wire is inserted, little to no aluminum should show. Turn the posts clockwise until they are tightened down on the wires. Do this for both HyperSound Clear 500p speakers. Next, plug in the power cord to the amplifier and the wall. On the back of the HyperSound Clear 500p amplifier, pull off the cover from the Optical 1 input port. Then, grab the optical cable and remove the plastic cover on each side. Once the plastic tips are off, one end of the cable should go easily into the back of the HyperSound Clear 500p amplifier. Once everything has been connected to the amplifier, look at the back of the television to find the optical output port. It will click in the same way as the optical cable did into the HyperSound Clear 500p amplifier. In the event your TV does not have an optical output port, please use the RCA audio cable to connect the HyperSound Clear 500p amplifier to your TV. Other connections. In some circumstances, the optical output port on the television may already be used by another device, usually a soundbar or surround sound system. If this is your situation, to complete the installation, look at the back of the HyperSound Clear 500p amplifier and remove the cover from the optical output port. Take the optical input cable from the TV and plug this cable into the optical output port on the HyperSound Clear 500p amplifier. Take the optical input cable from the HyperSound Clear 500p amplifier and plug it into the TV where it states Optical Output. Setup on TV. Now that the HyperSound Clear 500p has been connected to the television and/or surround sound, it is time to set it up on the TV. Go into the TV menu and find the Audio Settings feature. Look for anything that states Digital Audio Out. Make sure that the Digital Audio Out option is turned on, and if possible, have it set to Dolby Digital. This will allow the best voice enhancement through the HyperSound Clear 500p unit. Make sure that any other audio out that is set to variable is changed and set to fixed. If the TV has an audio delay function, make sure that it is set to 0. Any delay in the system will cause an echo effect. If an audio delay is needed to prevent an echo, it will be done on the HyperSound Clear 500p amplifier. Once everything is hooked up and the HyperSound Clear 500p unit is turned on, find the input button on the HyperSound remote and make sure the input on the menu matches the input currently being used. Most of the time, it will be on Optical 1. Alignment of speakers. Now that the HyperSound Clear 500p has been connected, it's time to make sure the HyperSound Clear 500p speakers are aligned with the end user. Since the front of the speakers are reflective, an effective alignment technique is to sit in the designated location and adjust the speakers until you can see your reflection centered in each speaker. The speakers should be slightly angled toward the end user's seating position. Menu items. The HyperSound Clear 500p unit also offers other menu items as well to help enhance your listening experience. To access the following functions, press Enter on the HyperSound Clear 500p remote. Use the up and down buttons on the remote to navigate the choices on the Settings menu. Equalizer. There are 4 available equalizer settings: Standard, Bright 1, Bright 2, and Bright 3. To get to these settings, press Enter on the HyperSound Clear 500p remote and scroll through to find your preference. Balance. Change the power of going to the left or right emitter. Use when distance between listener and emitters is not equal. Voice. Used to increase verbal audio clarity. Delay. If an echo effect is present, go to the HS unit and add delay until echo disappears. Inputs. Make sure the input on the menu matches the input currently being used. Most of the time, it will be on optical 1. Brightness. Affects the LCD display. System info. Only needed if you contact HyperSound Hearing Solutions directly. By following this guide, you should now be able to experience HyperSound Clear 500p for yourself. If you have any questions or run into any issues while installing HyperSound Clear 500p, please contact us at info@hypersound.com or call us at 888-496-8001. If you would like to change the speakers from a tabletop display to a floor stand display, continue watching this video to learn how. Change from tabletop stand to floor stand. On the back of the speaker, 3 screws will need to be removed to change from the tabletop to the floor stand using the supplied floor stand tool. Once the screws have been removed, lift the speaker straight up. Unscrew the posts counterclockwise to disconnect the speaker wires. Once the speaker is off, remove the table stand post. Pull about 3 feet of speaker wire through the base and stretch the wire to make sure it's fairly straight. Once the wire is straight, take one of the floor stand poles and make sure the pole is completely down and the grommet is tightened. Next, feed the wire down through the bottom of the pole. Once the wire comes out through the other end, only 6 inches of wire are needed from the top end of the pole. Bring the pole down to the base insert and lock into place. Go ahead and feed the extra wire back through the bottom of the base. Reinsert the 2 bottom screws to secure the pole to the base. Take the wire coming off the top of the speaker and put the wire back into the 2 little grooves on the posts on the back of the speaker. Turn each post until it tightens around the wire. Once the posts are tightened, pull the wire down through the slot at the top of the post and fit the speaker in place. Replace the center screw through the pole and into the speaker. Repeat this process for the second speaker.